In this video, we are going to discuss on public accountability system in Nepal. Let's start with introduction. Public accountability refers to the obligation of individuals holding public responsibilities to explain and justify their decisions or actions made through the use of authority, powers, and resources entrusted to them before the concerned stakeholders. The mechanism established to ensure such accountability is the public accountability. The system is developed to prevent individuals from deviating from the organization's declared objective, guiding principles, and legal boundaries. In a democracy, the line of accountability is simple and clear. Citizens elect their representatives and the head of government based on promises made during election. The government formulates policies and programs according to those promises and officials are responsible for implementing them. Provisions and efforts to promote accountability in Nepal. First, constitutional provision because constitution is the supreme law of the land. The Prime Minister and ministers are collectively accountable to federal parliament and each minister is individually accountable to Prime Minister and federal parliament for the work of their respective ministry. Similarly, the chief minister and ministers of each province are collectively accountable to provincial assembly and individually to chief minister and provincial assembly. Chief commissioner and commissioners of constitutional bodies must remain accountable and answerable to federal parliament. There is directive principle and policies of the state in part 4 of the constitution. Also, political and government policy are directed to make public administration people oriented. National security policy directed all security agencies accountable to the people. There is the fundamental right provisions in part 3 of the constitution. We have three tiers of federal governance system. There is provision of separation of power and check and balance, and we have provision of constitutional bodies. These are the accountability mechanism provisions in our constitution. Talking about laws, rules, and strategies regarding accountability, we have Good Governance Management and Operation Act 2064 and its rules 2065 and Good Governance Action Plan 2068. We also have Right to Information Act 2064 and its rule 2065. We have Civil Service Act to guide and manage public administration. We have Prevention of Corruption Act, Audit Act, Financial Procedure and Fiscal Responsibility Act, and we also have Government of Nepal Allocation and Business Rule 2074. These are the laws related to accountability. Talking about institutional provision, we have House of Representatives, National Assembly, and parliamentary committees. In province level, we have Provincial Assembly and its committees, Office of Prime Minister and Council of Minister, and under it there is National Vigilance Center. We have constitutional bodies like Commission for Investigation of Abuse of Authority, Auditor General, Public Service Commission, National Human Rights Commission. Also, we have National Information Commission, Social Welfare Council. These are the institutions regarding maintain accountability. Other mechanisms are reports issued by line ministries and agencies, citizen charter, appointment of spokesperson and information officers, auditing, management inspection, grievance handling, public hearing, public audit, procedural mechanism, civil society, independent media, and accountability monitoring committees. These are the mechanisms related with accountability. Talking about practices related with accountability, the legislature makes law and executive implements them. Every government body must submit report on implementation of laws to parliament. The parliament can question ministers and prime minister about their work and if unsatisfied it can remove government because our governance system is parliamentary system. Although such practice exists, sometimes they are influenced by party retaliation. Parliamentary committees question concerned officials about work done within their jurisdiction. Constitutional body submits annual report to president and through prime minister. Those reports discussed in parliament. Judges are accountable to judicial council, which evaluates their performance. Line ministries are accountable to respective parliamentary committees and must submit progress and additional report upon request. Ministry of Federal Affairs and General Administration conduct management audit of government offices. When a court demands detail on administrative decision, concerned authority must present the information. Court can give directive orders in matter of public concern. Local government are accountable for action taken under their jurisdiction and how this is enforced is being observed. Institutions implementing programs supported by development partner must provide report and explanation. These are considered vital part of the accountability system. Nepal must periodically report to international community on the implementation of treaties and conventions it has signed, especially human rights conventions. Another important aspect of accountability. Public hearing and social audits are being practiced, especially at the local level. Government agencies have established help desk, spokespersons, information officer, citizen charter. Recently, some offices have introduced citizen charter with compensation, making agencies more accountable to service recipients. Some example of accountability: Prime Minister Kirtinidhi Vista resigned after Siadarbar fire in 2030 on moral ground. Similarly, Minister Kesar Bahadur Vista resigned after Dasarath Rangasala incident, where 93 people died in 2044. Tourism Minister Tarini Datta Chatod resigned after the Lauda air issue. Some government offices have begun implementing citizen charter with compensation for failure for deliver promised service. These are the few examples of accountability. Talking about weakness, political leadership has become irresponsible. There is low attendance of ministers and representatives in parliament, so lack of accountability. Sometimes parliamentary meeting postponed because of not sufficient quorum. Collective responsibility is weakened as ministers publicly oppose cabinet decision, especially in coalition government. The highest violators of law are often those who make and implement them. Political parties prioritize partisan interest over public welfare. Some officials have even defied summons from parliamentary committees. Bureaucrats, often called at the unelected Senate, are not accountable to citizens. Advisors with no accountabilities, which are cronies, interfere the administrative procedure. Misuse of diplomatic passports by representative is a shameful case. NGOs' accountability remain unclear. In summary, strengthening political accountability increases accountability across the public sector. When political leadership is irresponsible, disordered, spreads through every part of society, as seen in Nepal's current situation. We can also categorize accountability related problem in political and administrative. In political problem, lack of lasting political commitment, reduced public engagement after reaching power, leaders pursuing personal interest, parliamentary committees failing to rise above party's bias, political instability and interference in administration, no clear division of responsibility between politics and administration. These are related with political problem of accountability. In the part of administration, the problems are lack of visible and meaningful commitment, process oriented rather than performance oriented administration, confusion over whether officials are accountable to citizen or political boss, insufficient delegation of authority and resources to frontline or field officers, rising corruption, lack of transparency, weak reward and punishment system, subjective performance evaluation, absence of clear job description, procedure and performance standards, outdated structure, old law and traditional mindset, citizen charter and public hearing remain largely for formalities, lack of proper delegation of authority, poor employee conduct and ethics, weak monitoring and evaluation mechanism, ineffective communication system. Other problems are low public awareness, weak civil society, irresponsible private sector, elite capture in participatory process, lack of social resistance against corruption. What can we do to make the governance system accountable? Here are the measures of reform. Ensure stable and consistent political commitment and adherence. Strengthen administrative willpower. Make employees aware of accountability. Reform administrative values. Allow service recipient to evaluate best performing employees. Ensure transparent decision making. Maintain fair and efficient procurement and bidding process, improve citizen access to information and upgrade management information system, regularly revise and simplify laws, rules and procedures, promote political and administrative decentralization, develop clear job description, performance standard and indicator based accountability evaluation, make monitoring and evaluation effective, reform accounting and auditing system, strengthen mechanism like public hearing and grievance redressal, improve employee behavior and mindset, strictly enforce code of conduct and end impunity, broadcast parliamentary committee proceeding live, effectively implement citizen charter with compensation, promote exchange of experience and best practices, demonstrate role model leadership that align word and action, enhance civic awareness and public participation. Additional measure can be institutional competition, freedom of dissent, and public debate. Here we come to conclusion. The concept of an open government, a neutral and active civil society, advocacy, facilitation, monitoring, and vigilance, and a strong independent investigative media are essential. Public accountability is a core element of modern governance. However, in Nepal, it remains weak. To translate accountability into practice, individuals, institutions, and political system must all act with vigilance and responsibility. It is hoped that with the evolving governance system and growing public concern, Nepal's public sector will become more accountable in the days to come. With this, we end this video's discussion. Feel free to comment and put your thought. Thank you very much.